Hello, God bless everyone today. This is Laurie from Spirit Warriors of Christ. It's a jungle out there. We will be living in a new world where you will own nothing and be happy. This will become the new normal. Do you think this is a conspiracy theory? If you look at the website of WEF, the World Economic Forum, anyone with eyes to see the truth can see that they are putting sugarcoating on their agenda to make it more palatable to those who are not so easily manipulated by high-tech industries, rich elites, governments, and leaders, and even Hollywood. Those who do not adhere to government mandates, who question authority, who search for truth, know that the government will not protect them. They cannot count on them for any kind of help. Basically, the U.S. government has turned against the people, and they don't even keep their evil deeds secret. Welcome to the precursor to your new normal. The World Economic Forum has some startling predictions for the world in 2030. In their Article 8 predictions for the world in 2030, they cover a range of topics from the environment to technology. They even have a follow-up article on Forbes titled Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. Is this what you're bargaining for? It's not that the WEF is a Dr. Evil-esque Orwellian organization full of villains. They have a really warped way of looking at the world. In the words of WEF Chairman Klaus Schwab at 2022's meeting, the future is not just happening. The future is being built by us, by a powerful community, as you hear in this room. Schwab said, addressing this year's guests, if their Article 8 predictions for the world in 2030 is anything to go by, here is what our future will look like. All products will have become services. I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes. Danish politician Ida Auken describing the WEF's vision. According to WEF, by 2030, we'll all be using products as services. So instead of buying a car, you'll pay to rent one when you need it. And instead of owning a house, more of us will live in shared apartments. This becomes all the more terrifying now that investment bank BlackRock is buying up real estate all over the world so they can offer housing as a service. It's not all bad news, though. The WEF predicts that we'll have more free time, because we won't have to spend it working to pay for all our stuff. But to me, the loss of ownership doesn't sound like a net gain. Oligarchs will still own everything. There is a global price on carbon. The carbon tax. It's a progressive way to make sure that people who can afford it to pay more do. The WEF predicts that by 2030, there will be a price on carbon in some form in 80% of the world. But since this is the WEF, we're talking about there is an autocratic hidden agenda. That comes in the form of if you want to fly anywhere or drive a car, it's going to cost you a lot. The point is to make people use public transport, which is, of course, more efficient. But it also means that the rich will be able to fly private jets, while the rest of us are stuck on a subway. When discussing the environment, let's make sure a small group of wealthy people won't be asked to sacrifice anything, while the rest of us have to give up more. U.S. dominance is over. We now have a handful of global powers. Whoa, did a global organization compromised of Bill Gates, Yuval Noah Harari, and the CEOs of Google, Amazon, and Apple just call for the end of hegemony? Yes, they did. The WEF says that by 2030, there will be a multipolar world order with a handful of global powers. The US will still be one of them, but China, India, and the EU will also be major players. What does that mean for us? I guess we'll find out. Farewell, hospitals. Hello, home spittle. Hospitals will be on the way out as technology takes the forefront in healthcare. The WEF predicts that by 2030, virtual health assistants will provide more primary care than human doctors. This is where AI comes in. There will also be this idea called the Internet of Bodies, which is which is a network of sensors and devices that monitor our health. Israeli author Yuval Noah Harari says people better learn to get with this or they'll be deemed useless in society. Human beings are no longer mysterious spiritual souls. We are now hackable animals, said Harari. There will be two classes, the exploited and the useless class, meaning people who don't adopt wearable technologies, metaverse, etc., It's better to be exploited than useless. This is extremely scary to me. Basically, what they're talking about, they are taking God out of the equation by hacking humans. And they're actually trying to, manipulate things to do this, to basically become gods themselves so they can oust God out of the picture altogether. And no one will be a creation of God. They will be the creators instead, making them gods, which is basically sounds a lot like the same kind of thing that Satan would do with the Antichrist. We are eating much less meat. You will eat bugs and you will be happy. I think not. Mantras like this, or WEF's recent article, Why We Need to Give Insects the Role They Deserve in Our Food Systems, make me wonder if they're a meme factory masquerading as a think tank. But apparently, the WEF is serious about getting us to eat bugs. They predict that by 2030, we'll be eating much less meat because it's bad for the environment. Yeah, have you heard about that one? They are trying to say that we cannot eat meat anymore because cows fart. This is what they're saying. And that this is dangerous to the environment because then we fart and give off gases. And I'm sorry, that's just ludicrous. So they also say that lab-grown meat will be more ubiquitous. Excuse me, I can't say this word. Ubiquitous, and we will be eating clean meat, which is grown in a lab from animal cells. I'm sorry. Give me a grain-fed cow any day of the week over that stuff that they're wanting to give us. Yeah. So, there's a strong argument that meat versus no meat has the same environmental impact. Regardless, people should definitely be educated about both sides of the issue. Also, bugs are gross. They may be gross, but they also are high in protein. But I'm not telling you by any means to go out and find some bugs and eat them. Today's Syrian refugees in the 2030s CEOs, the WEF predicts that by 2030, the majority of the world's refugees will be educated. They also say that refugees will become a major source of entrepreneurial talent. Hey, you can't be mad at them for this one. Being against refugees is like being against puppies. The two are just totally different. However, I will play devil's advocate because Completely open borders aren't sustainable either. For example, one of my good friends lives in Poland and tells me the sheer amount of Ukrainian refugees coming in is putting a strain on the country. Clearly, these people need homes, but removing borders entirely might be unsustainable and lead to more problems down the line. It's a complex issue. The values that built the West will have been tested to the breaking point. It's not that the WEF wants democracy to fail. They just want it to be reimagined. They say that by 2030, the values that underpin the liberal world order will have been tested to the breaking point. But what are these values? Individualism, freedom of speech, laissez-faire, capitalism, Judeo-Christianity. The WEF doesn't say, but I'm sure they'll be happy to tell us once they've taken over. By the 2030s, we'll be ready to move humans toward the red planet. Oh, this is gonna really, this is really gonna make you laugh. I'm happy the WEF end their tyrannical Orwellian heloscope on a good note. They predict that by 2030, the first manned mission to Mars will take place. Elon Musk, go figure, who's not a part of the WEF, says we need to become an interplanetary species or else risk extinction. I don't know about you, but I'm not excited about this one. The sooner the rapture happens and, the Lord does his thing with the tribulation, and, I'm looking for the Lord. I'm not worried about this stuff. We're all going to die, maybe. Okay. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I've done the reading and things don't add up, theorist. I get annoyed when I talk about the NSA or MK Ultra or what happened with Julian Assange, and it's brushed aside as a conspiracy. Okay, I have no idea what that's even about, and I don't care. The documents are there. The evidence is there. You can read about it for yourself. To me, the WEF is a perfect example of an organization that's out of touch with reality. That's one thing I can agree on. They make predictions that seem more like science fiction than anything else. But the scariest part is that they have an agenda. They want to control the world. They point blank say it. And they're using fear to do it. Don't be afraid. Be aware. Educate yourself. And don't eat bugs. And to add on that note, don't concentrate on what other people say. Look to your Bible, look to the Lord, and nothing else, because there is nothing else in creation or on this earth that is going to save you. The WEF is like totally off the reservation, in my opinion. And I don't agree with anything that is in their agenda. Own nothing and be happy. Yeah, do you know what they're going to do to make you own nothing and be happy? That's where the brainwashing comes in. That's where the microchips in your brain comes from. You know, I'm not saying that this is definitely, those things are definitely going to lead to that, but you know, it's looking pretty. Yeah, it's looking like it to me. All the evidence is there that they're basically wanting to completely change human anatomy and the way we think, the ability for us to think for ourselves and control absolutely everything. They're basically wanting to play a God because they believe they are God. And what does the Bible say about the Antichrist? That he go into the temple and take possession of it as if he is God, and sit upon the temple as if he were God. You know, it's basically the same. There's been doing the same thing that the Antichrist is going to do. They're wanting to take possession of everything and control everything as to their will. They're chasing immortality. That's what they're doing. And controlling everything because they are led by Satan and they can. So, if you are not raptured and you are left behind to face the tribulation, what I can say to you is welcome to your new normal. And I will add to that, you can be saved during the tribulation, but no one is raptured during the tribulation. And you will have to die for your faith by beheading. So, now is the time to make a choice before it's too late, because it's almost too late already to choose Jesus or to choose to follow the Antichrist. And believe me, one way or another, he will make you follow him. All those who refuse will die, and you will die in your sin when you do. So, accept Jesus today and don't be left behind. I pray that you make the right choice, because there's no time. Look at the signs. There are signs everywhere in the world. The world is in chaos because Jesus comes for his church soon, and the tribulation shall begin as soon as we are out of the way, because the restrainer will be removed also. The only one that keeps Satan back who subdues the evil in this world. God bless you all.